Prepare yourself for a tale of woe when Conan's caravan is attacked by a swarm of mutant beasts looking for flesh to feed their hungry god. It's all right here in our review of the Savage Sword of Conan #2 from Titan Comics. Stay tuned for the review. Welcome back to Comical Opinions. This is our review of the Savage Sword of Conan #2, but before we get started, let's talk about the credits. This issue is written by Jim Zub and Patch Searcher. Art by Richard Pace and Patch Searcher. Letters by Richard Starkings, Tyler Smith, and Jimmy Betancourt. With cover art by Dave Dorman. Grim, brutal, and unsettling. Those are the words that come to mind in Jim Zub's latest take on the black and white adventures of Conan the Barbarian in The Savage Sword of Conan #2. Conan works best when the challenges he faces require physical and mental struggle. Here, Jim Zub gives Conan both in copious measure. Story number 1, Leaving the Garden. Conan guards a supply caravan of good-natured traders and their families. When Conan prepares to part ways with the caravan to spare them unpleasant attention and argos due to his checkered past with the city's inhabitants, the caravan is attacked by a swarm of mutant men. Conan fights alongside the other guards, but the mutant numbers are overwhelming. The caravan workers, their families, and the guards are all killed. Even Conan is beaten to near death and dragged away. Sometime later, Conan awakes in pitch blackness and realizes he's been buried alive. Summoning the strength of a Cimmerian and his deep need for revenge, Conan escapes his grave and finds a hiding spot in the woods. After a harrowing night of darkness, pain, and hungry predator attacks, Conan is found by a boy, Tarif, from the nearby village. Tarif brings Conan rest and meager supplies to help the barbarian regain his strength. Over weeks, Tarif explains he's never seen anyone escape the garden before because the garden is meant to grow souls for the blessing of his people's god, Dom. As the summer turns to fall and Conan recovers enough to leave, he learns the reality of Tarif's stories is more accurate than he realized, and a monstrous evil is about to feed on a bountiful harvest. Story number 2, Master of the Hunt, Part 2. Solomon Kane and Griffith embark on their journey to find the Castle d'Orbeck, where the Gore is said to have created its lair and taken victims for eating in solitude. Griffith regales Solomon with tales of the pagan god Iran to pass the time, but the tales are cut short when the Gore attacks, killing Griffith and warning Solomon to turn back. The next morning, Solomon continues to the ruined castle, but he hears a sound of horns and hunts charging through the forest toward him. Much to his surprise, Solomon witnesses Iran of the underworld riding through the woods with his hounds for a supernatural hunt. When Solomon locks eyes with Iran, Solomon accepts there are darker powers in these woods than his faith allows. What did we like about the Savage Sword of Conan #2? Jim Zub's story is a tale of woe in the truest sense. Conan is forced to escape death more than once and confront a monstrous god, knowing that his strength is barely enough to survive. Protecting the innocent is a challenge too great, even for the mighty Conan. Jim Zub is, so far, incapable of writing a bad Conan story. This tale feels original but respects Robert E. Howard's roots for the character. Patch Searcher's next part in an original Solomon Kane tale lives up to the high bar Jim Zub presents with a supernatural story that challenges Solomon's fighting skills and faith on multiple levels. There's a mystery at the heart of Solomon's hunt for the Gore, and we can't wait to see how it plays out. What didn't we like about the Savage Sword of Conan #2? Practically nothing. Jim Zub and Patch Searcher are at the top of their game, building upon Robert E. Howard's legacy. Let's talk about the art. It's not the highlight of this comic. Richard Pace's scratch art or art foil style presents a gritty, grounded, dramatic atmosphere, but the details devolve from scratchy to sketchy in the wider shots with smaller characters. Conversely, Patch Searcher's detailed moody art for the Solomon Kane story is fantastic. Final thoughts. The Savage Sword of Conan #2 is a dream for Robert E. Howard fans with 2 stories showcasing Howard's greatest characters by creators who love them. Jim Zub's story is a treasure of horror, action, and emotional depth. Patch Searcher's next chapter in a Solomon Kane monster hunt is a perfect fit for the Puritan adventurer. The art, unfortunately, is less than ideal in the Conan story. Therefore, The Savage Sword of Conan #2 earns a 8.8 out of 10. What do you think of this comic? Are you more likely or less likely to pick it up? Let us know in the comments section. Also, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you want more reviews just like this one, stay tuned through the outro.